The Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast is not a substitute for your relationship with a mental health professional. Hey, family. Welcome back to another episode of The Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. And guess who I have with me? I got my bestie, Celeste. Hey, Celeste.
Hello, A. How are you today?
I am doing well today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Busy, moving, but great. No complaints.
Busy, moving, and great. And you, the travelista, okay, have you been anywhere recently so the last time you had just come back from Africa, so you probably recuperating.
Yes, I am recuperating, but at the same time, I'm working a lot and I'm gearing to go on my next trip. I leave on Tuesday. So
where you going?
Going to Anguilla. Your girl needs some beach time desperately. As much as I loved Africa, nothing wrong with that. I have not had any beach time this year, and I need it for my soul. I need it so I can reconnect. That's how I reconnect. Laying on the beach all day, in and out of the water, laying in the sun, having drinks. So that's what I'm going for a whole week. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's so good. And so, I have always wanted to go to Anguilla. That's one place that I haven't gone. And you've been there already. And you said it is beautiful. Now, I know you're going back now, but you're going to go with me next year, right? You're going to take me.
That's correct. Yes, I'm taking you next year. So every year they have the Anguilla Culinary Experience, and they do it in May. And what they do during that time is they bring chefs from all of the neighboring islands, and they bring them in and they compete. And they have food competitions and lots of luxurious dinners on beaches, and the bar is popping, and it looks gorgeous. So I want to take all my friends. I've been telling everybody I can about it so we can all show up. So, because the one thing I love to do, I forgot to say that earlier, I need to be on the beach, right? I need to be in and out of the water. I need to have drinks, and I need to have some really amazing food. So Anguilla is that place for me. So at least right now, until I find another island. Not to say that other islands don't do it for me. I can name a whole bunch of islands that have great food and all those things. But I'm just saying right now, I'm a little obsessed with Anguilla. So until I get everybody that I know to see it and do it, then I'll move on.
No, I get that. That's so good. So then you're going to have to take notes because you need to put this out there. Your blog, you need to blog about it and put it out there so everybody can know what to do, where to go, how to do it. That because I know that's your thing.
It is my thing, and the blog is coming, but you just gotta, what time am I supposed to get this blog done? It's a question. As you know, I work for myself, and I can't multitask when I'm at work. I'm concentrating, I'm focused on my client at the time. So between that and us moving around and the traveling, and then, I have house guests right now and us recording, I just have to really just sit down and take the time. But I'm taking my laptop with me to Anguilla, so I'm hoping something great happens. I'm hoping I have at least one rainy day that forces me to stay inside so I can actually get some work done, because I can get easily distracted.
Okay.
Y'all don't call me fly for nothing.
It's going with the wind.
Gone with the wind. Yes. Gone with the wind. Exactly. As soon as I see something shiny, I'm fluttering away. So, hey, what you going to do? That's me.
You're going to love you because I love every minute of that. I love every minute of going with the wind. I love it. Okay, so today we are going to talk about CARESHA Please. We're going to talk about
Young Miami.
So we're going to talk about Young Miami, the city girl, because there was 2 city girls, correct?
Yes, there are 2 city girls, Young Miami and JT. And so, CARESHA started up this podcast, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know if this is the first or second season. I'm not really sure, but it's a show that I believe that Diddy helped her start. right? And so she has a lot of hip hop guests on, and she asks them all kind of personal questions. And it actually is a really good show. I really do like the fact that she's not afraid to ask questions, and she does ask questions that people want to know. So she started off this season because I was wondering, since her and Diddy are I guess I don't know if they're together or not. I don't think they are, since all of his drama, right? So I was curious as to see if she was going to be picked up again for another season of CARESHA Please. And so I guess this is her first episode coming back, and it has made a big splash. I think the last time I checked, she had over 2 million views on this. So, because people want to know, like, well, how do you feel about Diddy now? How do you feel about the situation? What's going on with you and JT? And so she has her best friend, Saucy Santana. He's interviewing her, and it is an interesting watch.
Okay, I agree that it is an interesting watch. For me, I think it was an interesting draw. I think that it was brilliant to start off with, this being the very first episode where she's saying that she's going to be honest. So I think it was a very smart, interesting draw, but I don't necessarily know, when we get ready to talk about it, if the interview was just that interesting. I do want to say though, yes, so I did not watch CARESHA Please all the time. However, I would scroll across, and then sometimes if she was interviewing somebody who I was familiar with while I'm in the gym, I may have watched it. And one thing, like you said, now, her verb and noun connection may have been a little off, and her adjectives with, she speaks her own language, right? Okay. So sometimes it's a little off. Sometimes if you don't really understand her language, it's maybe difficult to understand what she's saying. But I guess if you kind of hang in there and listen and watch her body, then you'll get the context. You got to get context clues. Okay. But, I always love a girl going to get her coins. So the fact that this young girl was going to get her coins, showing up on that couch, although, her nouns and verbs were not agreeing with each other, but the fact that she was showing up and hustling, I respect that. And I would say this too, best friend, is I liked too, like you said, it wasn't that she was the best interviewer. However, she was not afraid to ask the questions that for some people would think was off-putting, like the stuff that you think about, but you'd be like, I can't ask that. She would ask.
Absolutely. I agree. And I think the best way to put it as far as her noun and verb connection is she speaks like she raps. And that's just that, right? So I'm not I don't listen to her music consistently. So, but that's what I get from it. And her interviewer in this interview, Saucy Santana, is just as bad.
You understand why they are very good friends. Yeah. Now, I don't know much about Saucy Santana, but what I do know, I don't know much about him. But you know what I do watch? These are one of my little guilty pleasures. It's College Hill. And on College Hill this last season, yes, it's on BET Plus. So it's when celebrities have kind of failed out of school or they didn't go to school, they go back to the HBCUs. So they film, and I think Tracy Edmonds is the producer. So they go, and this highlights the HBCU. So they take them back to school. They have this short course, and they have them go through the course. They had to show up to school every day as if they were in college. And some of them fail, but some of them pass. And so this makes them feel like, whether they was, smart. It gives them confidence, right? Another way to kind of follow through on getting the education. Last season, Ray J, I'm upset. Like, I'm obsessed. But he was on there cutting up. He failed. And so this, he failed. And so this season, Saucy Santana was one of the people, along with Claudia Jordan, Black China, Carlos King. Yeah, not Carlos King. His name is Carlos. He's one of those comedians with that used to be on Wild 'N Out. So I don't think his last name is King, but anywho, his name is Carlos. But they went to school, and Saucy Santana went to school too, but Saucy did not go to school. Saucy was going to all the parties. Saucy was twerking while they was doing homework. Saucy was eating chicken wings in the bed. Oh yeah, falling asleep. Saucy was wearing thongs. Yeah.
So is it safe to say that Saucy failed as well?
Yes, yeah. And and when Saucy failed, Saucy was mad that he failed, and so he started to tear the house up because
Okay.
yeah. So anywho, that's an interesting watch. That's a fun watch. If you're not really doing anything else, it's fun. So that was how I got introduced to Saucy Santana. So
Okay.
now for me to see him sitting on the couch with CARESHA asking her the questions, I'm familiar with his lingo now after I've seen him go to school, not go to school.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take your word for it. So, yeah.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with Saucy Santana very much other than that these two hang out together.
So tell me, friend, what did you think about the interview when he asked the questions about her and Diddy, her responses?
Okay, so the first question I remember him asking her is about how is she doing? How do you feel? Like, let's talk about mental health first, your mental health. How do you feel with all of this going on and people connecting you to him, to Diddy, and, always wanting a response from you about wanting you to answer for some of the things that he's being accused of. That's how I reworded it. That's not how he asked it, but you see what I'm saying? So, and she said that, some days she's happy, some days she's sad, sometimes she's like, fuck it, because she's got a lot going on. And she was saying that she does have it's a lot going on all at once. And I think she's speaking of the stuff that's going on with Diddy, her breakup with her partner, JT, and all of that. And so she says sometimes she just wants to give up, but then she looks at her children and she's like, I didn't come this far to go backwards. So I'm going to keep pushing. So I thought I think that was a good start to the interview. And then I think from there, Santana followed up with another question, and it was regarding the Diddy. So did you hear the part in which she talked about her mental health, and what did you think?
I heard that. I was all over that. I loved every minute of it. And I thought that was a great opening question because it wasn't just about, the surface stuff or the gossip. It was really like, how are you doing mentally? How is your mental health? And yes, to your point, I love the way she was honest by saying some days are good, some days are bad, but I pretty much just keep on pushing. And you know what? Another thing that she said, which I thought was great, and I could tell that she's speaking to someone else. Now I don't know, I don't remember if she said she was going to therapy. No, because I think she called him her therapist. So yeah, I don't know that she said that. But one thing that she said, and I think this is key for anybody out there who's going through something, she said, everybody goes through something, whether it's a death, whether it's a divorce, right? No matter what. And it's hard times and we all go through it. And she said that's the thing that keeps her going because she feels like this is not an anomaly. This is not just a me thing, right? A CARESHA thing. This is just a part of life. And I just have to keep on going. That I think is key, right? To getting through anything when you realize it's not just about you, although sometimes it feels like it, but like, no, everybody else is going through something too. If not now, they have been or they will in the future. And we all got to keep going because we're going to get through it.
Yes, that's what I took from it. So I agree with you. I think it got off to a really good start. Then I think he asked her about Diddy and how did she feel about people wanting her to answer for the accusations against Diddy. And she said,
hey, family, come on over here because I have something for you. Starting off with a go-to guide for keeping your minds healthy and strong. This right here is the Bible to mental health. It's your mental health Bible. The name of it is 6 Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. Everything that you need to know about keeping your minds healthy and strong is in this go-to guide. Where you get it from? Well, you get it from awisebrown.com/shop. But in this go-to guide, honey, in this mental health Bible, you know what you're going to find out? You're going to find out the benefits of aromatherapy, and how it can shift your mood. But guess what? You don't have to go anyplace else to look for your aromatherapy because your girls got you, okay? You can get some aromatherapy here. This is aromatherapy is in this candle. This is called a slice of happiness. It makes me tingle, like literally makes me tingle. A slice of happiness. This is a cruelty-free candle with no parabens, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. Now, you know, you go out here and you find these candles that smell good, but are they good for you? Are they good for your brain? Come on now, get real with yourself. Well, this one smells delicious and it's good for you. Made with essential oils. It's a soy candle. Amazing. You can burn it or you can just walk by and smell it. Lord have mercy, it's so good. Okay, so that's your candle, your aromatherapy, which raises the dopamine in your brain. That's your natural feel good neurotransmitters in your brain. All right, y'all. And I'm a part of you, you're a part of me. We are a family. We got hoodies now, and these are unisex hoodies, and they wear well, they wash well, and they feel so good. So you can wear them over your clothes, you know what I'm saying, and look dope, or you can wear them as your clothes with nothing under them, which I like to do often. And when you travel everywhere, I mean, every time I wear them, I'm moving around. People are always asking me whether I'm traveling, going to the supermarket. What's that? Who's that? And I'm like, mental health is a lifestyle. Because see, this is on the back. Okay, they come in white and they come in black. I'm like, join the family. Mental health is a lifestyle podcast. So there you go, family. Don't you ever say that I ain't give you nothing. You get all of these things from awisebrown.com/shop. All right, I got your goods. I got you. You don't have to go anyplace else. I'll see you on the other side.
Diddy. And she said, why do you think that is? Everybody wants you to come forward and say something. And she said, I believe it is because they feel like Diddy was my brand. You know what I mean? But she said, I was popping before that. She said, in fact, basically what she said was, in fact, I helped him as much as he helped me. I put him on daily on. Alcohol wasn't popping until I put it in a song and things of that nature. So that was her answer to that.
What are your thoughts? I'm sorry. What are your thoughts on that, though?
I don't necessarily agree. I believe people were wanting to know because that's your man. Period. That's your man. And not because you were cheering his biggest cheerleader and everything. No, you weren't just his biggest cheerleader. That was your man. And these accusations are in regards to him beating on women.
That's
abusing women. So I didn't think that was a direct answer, and I don't think it was an accurate answer. And yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree because he did become a part of her brand. I also agree with you and her when she said we helped each other, but the reality is yeah, we knew the city girl, but everybody didn't know the city girl the way we knew the city girl after Diddy had his hand on her, after Diddy was showing up with her, after Diddy was doing this half claim and she was doing this whole claim, because she was whole claiming him. He wasn't whole claiming her. So, you know, I truly believe that. I don't think, you know how you said that was your man? I think she was saying that was her man, but I really don't think that was her man. I don't think so. I know you said this. I think that I think she thought he was her man, but I do not believe that Diddy told that girl that she was his only woman. I do not believe that, because even in interviews, he would downplay it. Even when she interviewed him on CARESHA Please.
Yeah, I don't, when I say that, I say that, I mean, that's how people want her to answer for him, because that's how they put it out there. This is my man. And so whether or not he claimed her or not, she, like you said, she was claiming him, and this is how they put their relationship out there. So that's why people are asking you the questions. So that's yeah.
I totally agree. Totally. That's right. You got poster boards up everywhere you go, and you saying he your man. You back and forth. You bumping gums on Twitter talking about how he your man. So there's no way in the world, when all of these allegations are coming out about him pill pushing women, dropping pills, you know what I'm saying, roofing women, having sex with women, making women have sex with other women, having sex with men, when you was the last face that was screaming his name, how in the world are you thinking that nobody's going to come to you to ask you, what's up with Diddy? What's up with you and Diddy? What is your position? Were you a part of it? Especially when she was a part of the allegations from Lil Rod, the guy who was the producer in the house. He stated in his documents something, and I'm not a lawyer here, but something surrounding alleging that she would help and wrangle the women in for Diddy. And he also said that she tried to come on to him, or got the cousin to come on to him with her. And yeah, so she was included in court documents. So why would you think that nobody's going to ask you anything?
Exactly. Exactly. So I thought there was an avoidance on her part. Like, yeah, that's her trying to distance herself. And I also thought it was interesting when he asked her, well, I think he asked her, how do you feel like with all the allegations coming out and the video coming out? Like, what was your experience with Diddy and whatever? And she gave a very broad answer as like, well, I didn't witness that. When I came into Diddy's life, it was when the world was celebrating him. He got this award, that award, and that award. So I was just there for the celebration. I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy that they're speaking of. But at the same time, he did, and I was a little disappointed in Saucy Santana because he brought up the video, right? And so it's one thing to stick by somebody when allegations are made, and you can give that cop out like, well, I didn't see it, so I can't speak on it, right? But if you have been, as Saucy Santana said, I know you have been a victim of domestic violence, not once, but twice, right? So I know that you wouldn't put up with that. So that's her moment to speak and say, well, yes, I saw the video and this is how I feel about the video. She never said that. She just said that wasn't my experience. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of our experience, but what we all saw, we were people who were reserving judgment against Diddy. Even the people that were coming out and defending Diddy, once they saw that video, they had to address it. And I feel like the same thing should be said from the woman who was dating him.
Absolutely. So that was a straight cop out. And to me, when we catch you in a lie, because to me, that's what it felt like, a cop out, because you said that you were going to come on here and she kept saying, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm going to be open. I'm going to be honest. She lied because for her to say that wasn't her, she skirted right past that. Even if that was not your personal experience, because we can't say that it was, you saw that videotape, and there's no way in the world that you could tell me that you did. Now, I will say allegedly, friend, because somebody could say she was living under a rock, and we weren't there with her. But I don't believe, in my opinion, and I'm a state for you too, in our opinion, we do not believe that girl did not see that videotape with him dragging that girl and beating her down that hallway. And had you seen that, you still don't have an opinion? And then she tried to throw in, because look, this is how she doubled back. Because she said, well, at the time I didn't have children. I was with him when he was being celebrated or whatever. And then she said something about, but now I'm a mother. Then she had to think. I mean, I was a mother then. Yeah, you was a mother then, yeah. But now the difference is I got a little girl. So now, and she still didn't answer. She said, I'm
No.
just not, I just knew that I wouldn't be a part of that. So that's why I believe she's still in contact with him. I think that she separated herself so that we can't see, so she can go on with her career. But I think she's still riding for Diddy. Which for me makes me think that allegedly that she was complacent with some of the stuff that he was doing.
I agree. I don't think that he did all of this in isolation away from her. I mean, and I don't think that he's stopped being abusive to women. And the reason I say that is because up until the video came out, he kept lying. I didn't do it. That's a lie. I'm being attacked. My brand is being attacked. My family's being attacked. What about my legacy? And this is horrendous. And all the things that he said, only, to have the video come out proving him a lie. And he's saying, I feel bad about that. And that's, whatever he said. But so there's no way, in my opinion, that some of these behaviors weren't going on when she was present. I just don't see it. And two, since they've been together, it's not like he hasn't had another child.
A whole child on her. And then when she would be questioned about it, right? She'd be questioned in interviews. And I want to say that her and I don't know if it was the mother or somebody, they'd be going back and forth I don't even know who goes back and forth on the internet, but the fact is that she knew that he had this child, and supposedly she didn't really like the fact that he had the child, but yet she was still right back dealing with him, after he had this child.
Yeah, so the child is by another woman, and the girl he was going back and forth with is a different woman than the baby mother. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the girl she was going back and forth with was a woman, a chick by the name of Gina. And whereas the baby's mother is a different chick altogether.
Okay, so I got to ask a question. So who was 50 Cent, one of his children's mother? Did she have a baby with him too, or she was just one of his girlfriends, or?
No, she didn't have a baby with him. She's just one of his girlfriends.
Okay. So it's a lot.
It's a lot. So, but that lays credence to the fact where you were saying that, you believe that theirs was more of a business relationship, maybe that they weren't as tight as she claimed or whatever. What it tells me is that she was just sharing a man, but that's and that she probably is the bottom bitch. I don't know.
Okay. And for me, I don't even think now, and so this is just me, from the East Coast, so have known Diddy from when not known him personally, but just known of him, parties, all that kind of stuff from when he first started. And so, out of several interviews that I've heard about him, and then from people who who I know, who may know him or whatever, who have said for years that he was dark and he was the devil. That's what I would hear behind the scenes, allegedly, but that's what I would hear. I'm not saying that's what he was. I don't know him, but allegedly. What I know when I would hear and see him in interviews, the city girl, CARESHA, that is not the type of woman that he dates. He does not date, as she would call herself, a city rat. That is not the type of girl that Diddy has dated. That is not one of the girls that he would call his bottom B. Not. So like Misa, his first girlfriend or whatever, right? One of his kids' mothers, and then Kim Porter, right? Those girls, right? Different. They are not what she would call a city rat. And I think that was one thing that she alluded to in the interview. She said that when he would try to connect with her, she said, what you want with a city rat? Like what you want? Why are you over here? Why are you trying to check out a city rat? I don't know if she said today a city rat. I think she said a city rat or a city girl. Maybe city girl, city rat. Yeah, but whatever that was, that is not usually the type of girl that Puffy would have as his bottom B, like a Cassie, right? Like it's just totally different. So that's how, for me, just I'm always assessing things as a therapist. When I first saw that whole him with her and her cheering him on, and they in cars together and act bad, and that, I mean, I already knew. I felt that this was just an opportunity for him to turn up, because that's one thing that he's good at, and that's what she said in that interview, and I agree with. He is good at finding talent. He's always been excellent at finding talent. However, talent has said that he's also good with finding them and pimping them and taking most of their money. So that's been out there too. That's been alleged also. So to me, it seems as if that was their relationship. He saw she was popping, she was young, you know what I'm saying? She's something that people kept their eyes on. So he said, you know what? She can help me, because she speaks about it in all her raps, right? That she a city rat, that, you're going to spend money here. And she's spoken about even enjoying being urinated on, having sex. Like, there's a lot of things that she said, and she said that she would do. I'm just saying, for the men, for certain men in her life. I think he saw that opportunity. She saw the opportunity, and I think it was a business relationship. I don't think they was in love and was together and she was a bottom B. She did say that they fell in love, though, didn't she?
She did say they fell in love. And he always says that she's my best friend, right? He would also say that in interviews, she's my best friend. But I agree with that. I agree with what you said. I think it might have been some variation of both, right? Because I could see him, like you said, taking on this city girl, because she's so popular. Like she's what's happening at the time. City girls were a big thing. And so for him, he wanted to, I feel like he's ready to be back on top. He needed somebody to make him credible again, so he didn't look like the old dude trying to rap and stuff. And so she made him, he started dyeing his hair and stuff again and stuff. So she just made him more vibrant, more viable to the youth who he, trying to impress, or he's just trying to stay relevant. And she might have been the conduit for that, to make that happen for him. I agree. I don't disagree with that.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. Okay, so what about her relationship? And as we are talking about it, we're talking about this interview, but we love women, we love men, but we want to uplift her, right? I mean, both of us. We talk about that all the time.
Absolutely. So I would say this, like we've said before. Now, you say what you want about CARESHA. She's not a dumb young woman, right? So she saw the benefit of being with him, and she has turned that into a full-on brand. Which she was, like she said, she was working on it before, but he helped elevate her. He gave her helped her with this podcast. And like I said, it's a very popular podcast, so that opens up different revenue streams for her, and she can see that. And she said she liked being under him because she could learn from him. She, he was a tutor for her, and she wanted to learn business and how to become a mogul because she wanted to aspire to greater things. So I'm not mad at her for that take at all. So I'm not down on her. She's a young woman. Don't know, there's nothing wrong with grinding. And I love the fact that even though she's gone, it hasn't fallen apart for her. She had to regroup, but she's coming right back to the table. Let me go ahead and have this conversation that I kind of don't want to have, but let me go ahead and have it, see what my viewership is like. So now you're drawing us right back in. So who needs Diddy now? She doesn't. And that's a wonderful thing. And I'm happy for her.
Yes, I am too. I really am too. Yep, because to your point, she did mention that in the video several times. She said, I wanted him. This was interesting. I've heard her talk about her family before. And she talked about how her family, like there was a lot of scamming going on in her family, and a lot of people being in and out of jail for scamming, when she kind of described what being a city rat or a city girl was about, is about getting your money. She always rap about getting your bag and exchanging her for JJ for money or whatever, or bags. But what what she kept saying in this interview was, when I connected with him, it wasn't about getting my body done with him, or it wasn't about getting a bag. She kept saying it, but she was saying it, she just kept flicking it off on other people. It would have been good if she would have said me. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the past, this is what I used to do, but with him, I saw a different opportunity. Because she kept saying, when girls would do this or girls would do that, but it was really her, I believe, she was talking about. But she said, I was using this opportunity to learn how to be a mogul, and I respect that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on. She also talked about this breakup with JT.
Yeah.
I'm
So what
sad.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm saddened by it, but I mean, because I think they were a pretty cute duo, right? They both brought something different to the table, two totally different styles of rap, but they made it work in the songs and stuff, and they were all popping, I guess. Of course, I didn't listen to all of them, but I'm just saying it made them popular to whereas when JT was locked up, she could still, CARESHA could still hold the City Girls down and still, put them on, keep them on track for when JT got out. So it's unfortunate that for whatever reason, and I'm not sure where the beef started between the two when they started going in their separate directions. I don't know how I feel about how she addressed the situation with JT.
Yeah. Yeah. I just felt like, but obviously she's hurt. I believe. I believe she's hurt, right? And it's all mixed in with this whole P. Diddy thing. But just to your point, when JT, because their whole city girl thing, this rap thing was JT's idea. JT was the rapper. She just sold CARESHA on, come on, like, let's write you something. You can rap, just get up there and say it. We could see that CARESHA is not a rapper, but JT is a rapper. She really is. But okay, she was also a scammer. And so that's what she went to jail for. And while she went to jail, her friend, CARESHA, her family, I guess at the time, was holding her down. She said she was even going to shows even when she got pregnant by herself on stage and still making sure that JT got money. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep the name of the City Girls alive when it was JT's dream. It was not CARESHA's dream. However, she did see that she was benefiting from it. So yeah, I do see that. So that's why to me, yeah, I'm saddened that they've broken, but we do know that people break apart for reasons. And it seems like, I don't know where it was either, where they started to separate, but it seems like it had happened way before CARESHA really realized that it happened. That's what it seemed like. Because she said that JT was already off making her own album. And when they would show up, they would be in different dressing rooms. When it seemed as if before that, I guess they would be together. So I don't think CARESHA really understood where it also started to split either, right? But I think just the reality of it was just there. And this is just my assumption. I guess she just has to go along with it.
Right. I agree with that. I agree. And if you look back at previous interviews that they did together, it was obvious that the disconnection was happening, right? You could see it happening. They would make comments during interviews towards each other, and they wouldn't even be looking at each other. You never see them chuckle together, ha ha ha, like they were friends anymore. So I think it like you said, it was coming. I'm curious to find out what really, not necessarily find out what really happened, but I wouldn't mind knowing what really went down. What was the cause? Something had to get in it, whether it was people around them getting in their ear. Because how do you go from growing up together, starting a group, one of them going to prison, the other one holding them down? Like, y'all should be like this. So it's not she kept saying we just wasn't connecting anymore. We just weren't connecting anymore. We just wasn't hitting anymore. No, y'all stop talking is what I feel like it happened. You stop communicating with one another. Not sure who did what, who stopped communicating first, but clearly that's what it was. It was a communication breakdown because, it was an issue about a song she didn't know that JT was doing, and JT was doing features she wasn't aware of, and maybe she was trying to include JT in with this thing with Diddy. I have to go back and watch that CARESHA Please with JT, Saucy Santana, and CARESHA, because they did have a conversation on CARESHA Please, and I think JT alluded to the fact that she felt like she was getting left behind or left out, or that she didn't feel like CARESHA, was being, I don't know, like with this inclusion of Diddy, that she was heading in a different direction and it didn't necessarily include her. And CARESHA was like, no, if I win, you win, we win. Like, it was interesting. So I would have to go back and reference that, because I think that they gave us a little bit more insight as to the beginning of the breakdown of the relationship.
Oh, now that makes sense. So it was kind of like little seeds of jealousy that was planted, which comes up, right? When it's like all of a sudden now you and him and you and these cars and you talking all this money, and then I'm on the side, but it's not like how we used to be. I could see that. So little seeds of doubt. And then maybe she started to feel like she needed to go start taking care of herself and making moves on her own. And so then she did a song with Cardi B or something like that. Oh, God,
Yeah.
doggy. Why couldn't they just have a sit down, like a real conversation off screen, right?
And
Yeah.
just say they want to, if you're upset because somebody's not speaking, you say, hey, the communication is breaking down. You hurt my feelings when you did this, and I want to reconnect with you. I think it would have been worth it. Of course. I mean, like I said, they had something very rare. So in hip hop, it's not a lot of between who was the last one? Salt and Pepper, that who may be really successful at, maintaining a duo. So I just think it's unfortunate, and maybe we can strike up a little bit to youth, and they'll figure it out, right, as they go forward. Because I'm sure they probably miss each other. They have to. They were such a big part of each other's lives. You don't hold somebody down while they go to prison, and hold down a group if you don't truly, truly love them, right? She could have moved on without us. No, she's like, no, I'm here. JT's my girl. I'm gonna carry this across whatever line we need to carry it on to get us to the next level. And then just because I'm just guessing, just because I met a man that happens to be a billionaire and I'm going to these doors are opening up for me, doesn't necessarily mean I'm leaving you behind. You think I'm not going to reach back and come and get you, but you got to have that conversation with somebody. You got to reassure them.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree.
it happens with so many groups, right? To me, I think it's outside influences. I think it's the people that get close to you and get in your ear and start pumping you up, because that's the only thing it can be. It can't be the money. It can't be the fame, right? It's the people that you surround yourself with. And, they'll it's divide and conquer. It is what it is. So people get around you and they want to get in your head because they want you for themselves. They want to use you for some purpose of their own. So I always think that that's the reason when groups break up, especially if you've known each other since you were kids and this has always been your dream. Now, all of a sudden, Johnny's going solo. What? Like, who told Johnny to do that? Like, where did Johnny get that? And Johnny don't feel appreciated anymore, because he's singing 6 verses. He's got 6 lines and I only have 2. And everybody thinks they should be going solo because the people around them telling them, you can go solo. You can make more money. You don't want to split this check.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's so true. The devil. It's the devil. Okay.
Anyway, back to the interview. So so JT and her. So I feel like she gave more information, I guess, she gave more insight into her and JT than she did about her and Diddy. So I'll just say that.
She skipped past that quickly, but maybe it's because she also thinks she'll be subpoenaed into court. Maybe, right? And she was trying to, I don't know, be smart with her words. But she didn't give no juice. She didn't give any juice about not one thing. It was very, very surface.
She didn't have to give any juice about it. Honestly, I just think she missed the opportunity when she said, and as far as the video goes, I would have liked to have seen her address the video. It doesn't matter if you're still dating this guy. I don't care. You can tell him that was disgusting. I don't know about who that guy was, but let me tell you something. This was disgusting, and you should say that. Like, I just felt the video was too much for me because I think Santana asked her what was the breaking point. Are you still seeing him and whatever? And she said, no, I'm not. And it hurt me to break up with him, but I just wanted to focus on my family. Oh, yeah, you were fine. You were still dealing with him up until the point that the video came out, right? So that wasn't your concern. So if that's the case, you can also say, I was still rocking with him up until when the video came out and I realized the allegations were true. And then I decided I would take a step back and sever this relationship while he sorts this through, because I do not condone that at all. Simple.
Well, it sounds like that's what you would say, but I don't think that's probably how she's. She should hire you for her PR, because that whole story that you just said, I really don't know that young girl felt like that, because I think she was still dealing with him through the whole thing, even after the video. I really do. I think she just had to separate herself because she's in hot water. Her name was in it. The alligator, like all of that. You see how Stevie J was out there talking about I stand with Diddy, and first it was a couple of people who were standing with him. Then all of a sudden, when their names start getting swooped up in the allegations, then it's whoa, 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 whoa. So yeah. I don't know that she felt like when she saw the video, she was appalled and she changed. You see what I'm saying? I think
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether she was appalled by it or not, if that's how she actually felt. What I'm saying is, that is what you say. Whether you believe it or not, especially if you have claimed that you have been in 2 abusive relationships before, and you supposedly, because you have this daughter now, whatever. So that's the message that you're sending. You can't have it both ways. Well, I can't put up with it because I have a daughter now. But you got to also be like, I have to also say that this is bad. Like, this is like, this video is the reason why I'm leaving, or this video broke the camel, straw that broke the camel's back. You have to connect the two. You can't separate them, and people think that you're being genuine. But at the same time, like you said, this wasn't necessarily about being genuine. Now, was it? Right? This was just to kick off her season, right? To get her viewership up and whatever. So that's what it was for, and it served its purpose. And like you said, not knocking the hustle, but doesn't mean doesn't mean I don't see it. It doesn't mean you don't see it, right? It doesn't mean other people don't see it. And will I watch CARESHA Please in the future? Sure. I didn't see any. I was glad when I'm happy to know that it's coming back, right? So.
Me too. We are not knocking nobody's hustle, not knocking that young woman's hustle. Like, yes, I'm happy that it came back too. Even though I said it wasn't juicy enough that, because I think it was a surface conversation, it still has us talking. And I want to add in, just like you said, instead of her, her making a statement about, because, I have a daughter now, or she was in a relationship, I want her to care just like she cares about her daughter, about other women, and even about herself.
Yeah.
About self. And this would have been great to even teach her son, so that her son wouldn't be doing that, repeating those cycles, hitting other women. So, CARESHA, please take care of yourself. Yeah, because we are rooting for you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. We are rooting for you. Okay. Well, those are our thoughts on the CARESHA Please video, the City Girl video, the Young Miami video. That's me, a therapist, and my bestie, Celeste. Was there anything else that you wanted to say? Did you want to say something to Saucy?
No.
Okay. Well, you got to check him out on the
College Hill.
Oh, College Hill.
Maybe.
Okay, family, so if y'all haven't watched that little video, it'd be interesting. If you were interested in, Puffy's situation and what went on with him and the downfall of him and, of this music mogul, if you cared enough, this was one of his supposedly main girlfriends who finally came out, and she was alleged to be a part of the abuse that he was putting on other people. Well, this was her first time speaking out on her show, CARESHA Please. And we just broke down our perspective of the interview. Okay? All right, family. And CARESHA, come on now, please. Find a therapist. Keep your mind healthy and strong. Find somebody, even though Saucy is good. You say he's your therapist and your best friend. But I want you to find a real therapist, in addition to Saucy, to talk to. But in times like these, we do need our friends. Friend, I be needing you. You know that.
Yes.
That's right. Okay. All right, y'all. So I will see you, family, on the next episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise-Brown. Y'all make sure you check out Love is Blind UK. Love is Blind. Did I say it right, friend?
Yes.
See y'all next time.